Hello, everyone. I'm here with Nicole Austin, one of our awesome clients with Darci Creative, and she is the marketing director at PromoCentric, which is an amazing promotional services agency with offices in New Hampshire and New York City. And welcome, Nicole.
Hi, good to see you.
Good to see you always. And so just a little context, we started working together. We were brought in to help Nicole and her team with a website overhaul. And our teams had a lot of synergy between one another. And so it was a really amazing collaborative process. And so now we've evolved into a full-time agency partnership with a full annual integrated strategy that we're executing on. So Nicole, can you just tell a little bit about where you were at before we started working together?
Yeah, absolutely. So our website was in dire need of some updating. We really wanted to better show off our culture and our vibe internally, and our site had just wasn't doing that for us. It didn't really reflect who we were as a business, but also who we are as individuals that work here. And we needed to simplify it. So what I mean by that is it was incredibly wordy, and I felt like it was very confusing to someone who really didn't understand what we did. So we really needed help digesting what it is that we do and then spitting it back out in a fun way, but also not leaving anything out, right? So like we still want to tell everybody what we do, but we needed a lot of help just simplifying it, making it punchy and fun and energetic. And I also, we did join on just to be a website partner at first, mainly, but part of that process for us was me realizing and understanding a lot more about digital and how we really needed to full circle some of the campaigning we were doing and the outreach and just kind of holistically realizing and understanding how to better incorporate digital now that we were going to have this great site to send people to, and how do we use it as a sales tool and a lead gen tool. Those were holes we kind of realized as we were rebuilding the site together. So we needed some help there as well.
Yeah. So had you worked with other agencies prior to working with us?
Yes, yep. We had worked with an agency for a website specifically, mainly for updates. The site had been updated prior to my starting to work here at PromoCentric. So there was an additional agency as well that I didn't have any experience with. But we were looking to make a change. We just weren't getting the support that we needed, unfortunately, from the partner we had had previously. So,
Yeah, yeah. You are an amazing company. You just received an award, right, for best company
mhm.
to work for. And so it definitely wasn't reflecting your culture, like you said. But what else
Right.
were pain points with your previous website and just sort of your marketing efforts? Where did you feel stuck?
Yeah. So the website specifically, I mentioned earlier, just like the messaging was a little all over the place and overwhelming to a user. I also felt like it was just way too busy in terms of graphics and visuals, which was something that we really needed some help with on all of our collateral. We also we wanted to start doing paid advertising again. It had been done previously and we had stopped prior to my starting, and we really wanted to get back into it. And I didn't know where to start. That is not a strength of mine. So that was one thing that we were having a challenge with, just figuring out where to start. What's the best way to just, we've been working together on it now. So it's hard for me to kind of go backwards a little bit
Yeah,
mentally,
I
but
know.
where to even start with trying to build an audience, for retargeting and all of the steps and things that go into picking an audience to even get it started. So it was a lot. It felt overwhelming to me as a director. So to even try to direct my team to help was just really tough for me to wrap my head around. We also wanted and needed higher quality leads to come inbound. So our sales team does an incredible job of, working on finding people and getting referrals and building relationships through their reputation. But we really wanted people to want to work with us just
Mhm.
by seeing us, out there on social media and finding us through Google and search. And SEO, we really needed help there, and I didn't even again know where to start and how to make changes and adjustments to the messaging and the site. So we were just struggling with that piece and how to tie it all back to our, the systems that we use internally for lead management and lead gen. So
Yeah, I was just remembering early days when we did the initial sort of website performance report, and we
mhm.
rely a lot on data, and I think that's something they appreciate too. But we were going through the website performance report with you and showing you all and your team
Mhm.
how ineffective your site was. Essentially, nobody was really going, they weren't really spending time. And one of the challenges, as I think you're pointing to, is that what you do, you could be working with any business,
Right.
any business whatsoever. It's not like you only do promotional products for accountants. You
Right.
work with essentially any company, and that does make it challenging. So,
Mhm.
can you describe the journey, like through that whole website process, what it was like for you? Were there any sort of standout moments for you
Mhm.
or turning points where you felt like we're hitting it?
Yeah. So just a couple quick highlights for me. I love how you guys do the onboarding calls with the whole team. I think it's so important. I do feel like in the past, I've not even just here at PromoCentric, I've worked with other agencies, and getting to know who you're going to work with for the entire scope of the project or the year from the beginning and from the get-go is huge. And I don't know if I've ever told you guys that, but that's like a very important part of what you guys do. And I feel like it's a differentiator. Getting everyone on the call, seeing them, meeting them, understanding where they specialize and how they're going to help us this year was a really big starting moment for us, because I was like, oh, we picked the right
Mm,
team to work with, because this is how I would do it.
yeah,
So that was a great moment for us where we were just like, okay, we made the right decision.
excited. I remember you feeling like
Yeah,
you were excited.
it
Yeah.
was awesome. Yeah, it was energizing. And then also, website, like, so we went, it took, I think it was like 8 or 9 months that it took us from start to finish, which was great, is what we had intended and planned for. We were pretty much on schedule most of the time with, we took our time in a couple areas, but I feel like the communication throughout the entire process was exactly what it needed to be. And we did have a switch off of project managers, partway through. And I thought that you guys handled it wonderfully. And that was a pivotal moment for us too, when it was like, oh, not everything
Yeah.
goes as planned.
Right.
How do we, you define yourself sometimes by how we all manage through that. And I thought you guys did a beautiful job in communicating with us and everyone. Like, I didn't feel like I had to restart with a new project manager. They had the information that they needed to continue to carry the project forward. So those are like some pivotal moments that I feel like you don't always hear about in a testimonial, where it's like, not everything always goes as we had hoped, but how we handled it and how we got through it was amazing. It was not a blip on my radar. It was just like I had been working with Chris from the beginning. So it was awesome on our side. And one of the other things I'll call out through the process of last year was we had a couple discussions throughout, and our success and our satisfaction was the number one priority always. And it wasn't about, hey, we only scoped for this, so sorry.
Mm.
And that was really important to us and a partner, was just, again, sometimes stuff comes up, stuff happens. And at the end of the day, we all want this to be something we all love and are proud of. And I feel like I got that from you guys from start to finish. And it wasn't this constant, like, you have 15 minutes left in your content writing scope, and that's not to say that, we were completely out of whack. It's just more to showcase that you guys, your utmost priority was always our success and satisfaction with what was produced. And that's amazing. And those are
Mm.
some pivotal moments for me that was what made me reach out, over the summer, be like, what are we going to scope for next year?
I know, we
How
love
do we like,
hearing that. We were like, yes.
yeah, and that
Yeah.
was my other one, was planning for 2025, was just like having you guys like, okay, we've come this far, the site's about to launch. Like, how do we prep already for 2025? How do we see all this fitting in? And like, it was almost like an addiction for the team, where you're like, oh my gosh, they can't go away after this website launches. Like, how do we, so it was really cool for us, to just have those moments of, oh God, we need Team Darci. Like, we need the energy from the calls. The reporting was huge. I'm sorry, we might get to that at some point, but
Oh, let's
those
talk
were
about
so.
that. I mean, I think that's a big part of what we do. And first of all,
Mhm.
thank you so much. I mean, I think that it just speaks to the collaboration, and it was a big
Mhm.
project, right? So it
Yeah.
wasn't without glitches. But I totally agree with you. We were both of us, or in the entire team, was so committed to, making sure you really loved it, and everyone at
Mhm.
Centric really loved it. And so that helped us get through those sort of bumps that we had along the way
Yeah.
a little bit, because we
Yeah.
were really on the same page. But so let's talk about now, as we're looking forward, where we are now. We're in Q1. We're ramping up. Like, talk a little bit about how you feel our partnership has helped transformed what you do, and sort of your peace of mind in terms of, you know, reaching your goals and that kind of thing.
Mhm. So our whole team, sales included, shares our website all the time, which is huge. They share it on social media, they share it in emails. They're constantly bringing it up. People are driving people to the site now, which was not the case prior to last October, which is a big, huge change for us, as you know, just SEO driving traffic.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of our communications and displays, so we do go to a couple of trade shows throughout the year. We have events here at our facility, have now been updated and modeled after the website, which is great. We had some continuity before, but not as much as we do now. So I feel like our brand is a brand again. Like it feels good throughout our office, throughout how people are, what they're wearing, all from start to finish. I'm head to toe because that's what we do, right? But it's really helped us have this guide of, because we did basically rewrite the entire website.
Mhm.
And now that has all translated into our collateral. And that's just been a huge transformation for us as a business. So I feel like our vibe is a vibe again, and it's people can feel it through us, which we've actually gotten the feedback from a bunch of people, which is people that don't know we redid it recently, which is really nice.
Yeah, it's
um,
awesome. And it does have it, you know, I'm super proud of it too. And I love the way you guys are embracing, you know, we kind of played with that orange dot and
mhm,
you know, you're just using it in a way that really does give that sort of fun vibe, which is really what the
mhm.
goal was, that this is an amazing group of people that, you know, visually, how do we communicate that so that people feel it, you know, we're not just,
Right, right.
hey, we're cool, we're fun. We're just showing
Mhm.
like, this is who we are. So I love
Yeah.
that, you know, it's
Mhm.
become a signature for you, really.
Yeah, and I mean we use it all the time now, and it's like a big joke, you know, the dot, the period, like it's fun, it's great. We use it's our brand is stronger than ever before, and which
Mhm.
is awesome for us because we are a branding agency. So like just to feel like we've harnessed it, and here we are, and we're showcasing it. We saw an immediate increase in web traffic. I don't have all the numbers in front of me, but I'm
Yeah.
happy to share them with anyone that wants to ask. We've also have a streamlined marketing plan going into this year based on our conversations with you guys and then my team's work and everything we do internally. And all of our channels are aligned and have a purpose with continuity, which in the past, having, like I was sharing before, like just you're kind of dabbling if you don't have an expert on the team here to for social media. Like Maggie does an incredible job with our social media, you know,
Mhm.
but she's, you know, you got Chris who's watching it every day, and she's
Right.
literally, that is what she does, you know, is focused on social media and the trends and what we're posting, and she gets to analyze our data. So just her and Maggie work really well together, and just watching that, you know, even just with those 20, 30 minutes a month of her just chatting with Maggie about, here's how I see you guys could bring this up, you know, change this. And that's incredibly helpful. The last thing I'll mention is our newsletter. So that was a part of last year's scope that we had rolled into this year. We really wanted some sort of email marketing that was continuous and our clients and prospects could rely on getting. And with that came the newsletter that you guys helped us with. And our February newsletter had a 49% open rate. Like,
Oh, awesome.
what?
I know.
Right? So like it's continued to increase, it's continued to go up. Unsubscribes are nice and low still. So people are excited and they're engaging with the content, and it's just awesome. It's been a really great addition, and we're able to showcase our employees in it, and it's just become a really relevant piece of email that we get to send out to our clients excitedly every single month. So those are just some of the biggest transformations that we've seen on our side after partnering with you
Yeah,
guys.
so great. And can you just speak about the collaboration a little bit more? Because I do think,
Yeah.
you know, it's not always the case between agency and client where there's so much synergy.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think because, you know, you have your in-house team, and then I just feel like we complement each other in terms of our
Mm-hmm.
expertise, and, you know, there's not a lot of ego involved.
No.
You know, that can happen.
You're right. Yeah. No, so we are incredibly collaborative with the team at Darci. Like I probably email Dee and Julie too much sometimes. I'm like, oh my gosh, what about this? You know, inspo, and everyone just goes back and forth. But all of the time are we working through outlines with blogs and working through outlines with newsletters. And that's one of the things I will highlight as well from, you know, from Darci's team. They're constantly invested in getting to better understand our industry and how to bring us into it better, and how to, you know, fold everything. And it's not, you guys aren't pigeonholing us into what our industry, someone in our industry should be doing. You're looking at who we are, and then you're helping understand and grow in our industry, which is huge because it's a complex industry. And
Mhm.
I do feel with every single blog and every single thing that we work through together, it's like, this is it. Every time it's just even more a nail on the head, nail on the head. And it is a collaborative process from start to finish. A lot of times we don't have the subject matter experts on our side. We all know a lot of things, but we don't know everything that every single person on Darci's team and your team knows. So it's really great, for us to have those people. When I had been thinking about this conversation, I was like, oh God, it's like a mentorship when it comes to certain things for me. That's how I have viewed it from a personal and professional perspective, where I'm like, hey, I don't know a ton about this. I don't have all the data yet, but I'd love to talk to Darci and Julie and anyone on your teams. Say it was Matt, we needed to develop something on our site. It's just great to know that we can connect with you and that you guys are going to talk to us and give us your opinion. And that might be all I need is, hey, I need some opinions on we're going to
Right.
the show. How would you collect leads? And it's just
Mhm.
a true extension of, I don't have to Google it and say, oh God, and then 42 people. You guys know
Yeah.
what we're trying to do. So the collaborative from that perspective for us has also been really nice. When something comes up, I'm like, let me send a note to Darci, the team. I keep saying Darci because like Darci created, sorry. But let's just email Darci, Team Darci, and see if they have any opinions or could, guide us in the right direction. And everyone's always so helpful. It's just incredible. So from a creative collaborative standpoint, and then from also just a professional, knowing and having experience in certain areas, I don't hesitate at all to pick up the phone and call. So
Yeah, that's so great to hear. And that is often how we explain or describe ourselves, that we are an extension of your business. We are part of your marketing department. In some cases, some of our clients don't have the in-house team like you
Mhm.
do. So we
Right.
are the marketing department. But in this case, I feel like we're just stronger together because
Oh yeah.
we get to do sort of the high level stuff that we really excel at, and you
Mhm.
handle, sort of the day-to-day stuff that's, you're in it every day. So it's perfect. So,
Yeah, and the data has been one other big thing. Like we hadn't always had great data around the site, but also the conversions and but through paid advertising and I just want to reiterate that to anyone. Like I've been able to make much better, more informed decisions for this year based around having an entire year's worth of data
mhm,
under our belts that we're just continuing to add to. And it helps me understand and focus on where I should be spending time, energy, and money,
yeah,
which is
for sure.
also a big one when it comes to
Huge.
this stuff.
Yeah. So, I think one of the roadblocks for us in terms of getting to this point with a client is trust. And I
Mhm.
feel like for whatever reason, I feel like you've been very trusting from the beginning. I think in the beginning, I remember being in the conference room over at
Mm.
your offices and, a lot of people around the table. And there was a certain skepticism, which is natural. We're
Mhm.
showing all these numbers and, who knows if it's real.
I know.
I mean, can you sort of talk about that trajectory a little bit about, because it takes time to earn trust, right? So,
Mhm.
and you had somewhat of a negative experience with your
Mhm.
previous agency. So can you just talk a little bit about that process for you guys as the leadership team? How do we help navigate that?
Yeah. I think I'm a pretty good judge of character and people, and I needed to find someone that I wanted to talk to, that I felt comfortable talking to, and that I wanted to spend time with, on top of that I felt would put in as much energy as I do into my everyday, and that my team does, and that our team does collectively, because we were hiring someone to represent who we are.
Mhm.
And for me, it was incredibly important to feel good about the decision, not just, get others to feel good about it. And as you know, we had gone through a bunch of RFIs, and we had looked through a bunch of folks, had some conversations, and then we brought two people in at the end to present to us, which included you guys. And because I did need leadership buy in and sign off, because they were going to be supporting the entire project.
Mhm.
Um, and after you guys left, it was, we sat around the table. We had seen you guys and someone else I think it was the same. Can't remember at this point if it was the same day or the 2 days separated one another, but everyone sat down and they were like, hands down, go with Darci. So
Ah,
like it wasn't even a fight on our side, and I didn't have to do too much convincing because you guys were you. And I think that you spoke to us, not just to previous experience, which
Mhm.
is so important, right? We still need to know that you can do the job and that you guys have the experience to do the job, and that you're not just a startup who's going to take our money and run. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I didn't feel like you pitched me a cookie cutter like proposal. It was built for me. It was built for what I needed. It was built to help figure out what we also needed. And there was a lot of flexibility in it where I didn't feel like it was going to be that, well, you only have an hour left of writing, so we can't do this hour. Like there was not this, it didn't feel like I was jumping into a net that was going to get pulled on me in 2 minutes. It was like, okay, they're going to work with us and they want to get to know us. And the energy was good. I think about, okay, like if I was to give because we spoke to a bunch of I asked for referrals.
Oh, yeah.
I spoke to a bunch of folks you've worked with previously, and I'm like, oh God, what would I say to people now? And it's like, Darci Creative is a vibe. Like you have this energy about you as a team, and I want to work with you. Like I want to work with you. And we get off our calls, and my team's always like, oh God, I'm so energized. I'm so reinvigorated. And I feel like that came through in that pitch to our leadership team, where it wasn't even like find someone else. I don't know. It was just check a couple of referrals and you're good to go. But
Yeah.
due diligence on that side. But yeah, I didn't have to fight, so it was really nice.
I love hearing that so much. Darcy's a vibe, and the hands down thing,
Yeah,
that was new information. So it's beautiful. Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. And I just think we're always striving for more. Like keep
Mhm.
looking, keeps, it's not like, and I think that is the case, unfortunately, sometimes it's sort of a set it and forget it thing. And I know you've
Mhm.
been lucky enough to work with Jeffrey, our search manager, and
Yeah.
just so phenomenal. He's always digging, he's always trying to make it better.
Mhm.
And that is our vibe too, I think.
Yes. That
Um,
is actually like a really important thing to note to anyone listening. We came from an agency that did what we asked, but I don't know what to ask for.
yeah,
And
exactly.
that was, I didn't know, I'm not an expert in SEO and in that area. And I think that it was one of the pain points I had brought up when we first started talking was like, I don't know what to ask you to do. So sometimes I'm going to say, I really don't know. Could you please help guide me? And then I'll do my best based on, but that's where Jeffrey every week, every month in our reports, I'm like, oh God, I love that addition. Like, thanks for thinking like me without me having to
Right.
say, because I wouldn't have known to ask him to start tracking this brand awareness. We're tracking some of our brand awareness stuff right now. And it's he really digs in, like you said, and he doesn't do it like he does it all on his own for the benefit of us, the client, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I
Yeah.
would say that's the case with everyone on our team and yours.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much, Nicole. Could you
You're
just
welcome.
wrap up, like, how would you, if someone was saying, I need a new marketing partner, like, how would you describe us?
Yeah, I would say you guys are a true partner. Like I never feel uncomfortable calling or like I'm out of my scope or I'm out of time or anything. I'm always like, I gotta call Darci, I gotta ask. I think you guys are incredibly transparent, which is so important when it comes to building trust throughout the relationship. No matter what's going on, good, bad, ugly, we always are on the phone with one another saying, oh, I'm not gonna meet a deadline. I'm sorry, guys, I'm gonna hold you up. That's me coming to you guys, go and help me. Incredibly reliable. You guys do what you say you're going to do, and you always do it better than we anticipate or expect. And if something is going to be off, we know about it before it's happening, which is huge in the world of marketing because we all know stuff comes up every single day. You guys are incredibly creative. I love having the fresh eyes in the industry. I've been in it for almost 14 years now, and Maggie 10, and Linda and Sarah have been on my team. We've been in it for a while, and sometimes you can get a little stale and in your own head. So
Yeah,
it's so
right.
nice to have fresh eyes. You guys are a lot of fun to work with. I was shared before, like our calls are always energizing and exciting. We look forward to them monthly. Always so thoughtful too. I feel like you guys take the time to get to know us as people, which is incredibly helpful in terms of building trust, but also, and I said it before and I'll say it again, that's probably the best way to close it out. If you're not working with Darci Creative, they're a vibe and they'll take your brand to a whole nother level. So, but don't take up too much of my time. I'm kidding.
No,
They're incredible. And if you are second guessing yourself or not sure if you should work with them, just I will leave my email or give me a call, because it's the best decision we've made for our marketing in a long time. So
Ah, that's so awesome. Thanks, Nicole.
you're welcome.
All right. Have a good
Awesome.
day. Thank you so much.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.